Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Lincoln Riley, the USC Trojans, kicking off spring practice. And one of the more intriguing storylines heading into spring ball for this USC program is the battle that we are going to see at the quarterback position, where Lincoln Riley comes out and says, yes, Miller Moss is definitely in the lead for this quarterback one spot, but we are going to make Miller Moss earn it. And Jayden Maiava, many of you guys know I am extremely excited about not just the 2024 year for Jayden Maiava, but really what he can bring to this USC offense over the next couple of years. I think you're looking at a quarterback that has a tremendously high ceiling in terms of what he can be as a quarterback at the college football level. Big body, very good athlete with an absolute howitzer of an arm. I want to get into the film of Jayden Maiava, talk a little bit about what he brings to this USC offense. Extremely excited to get into it. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and a massive shout out to the USC fans. It truly has been a blast working through these transfers, diving into the film, talking about what they bring to this USC program. Can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this one. Now, before we dive into the film and talk about Jayden Maiava, I do want to give some of my takes on this quarterback battle, and that is, many of you guys know I am a massive fan of Miller Moss. He's been in this offense. I think he showed what he could do against the Louisville defense that I don't think people are talking enough about. That Louisville defense in the ACC was phenomenal in 2023. Miller Moss comes in and absolutely lights it up. And you look at some of the things you want to see from your starting quarterback. I think the number one thing is the leadership and the command of the offense. Miller Moss put both of those on full display. Now, Jayden Maiava has certainly some work to do if he wants to earn that quarterback one spot. But from a talent standpoint, he certainly has that ability. And now getting into Jayden Maiava, one of the things that really stands out to me, and this is what I look for in a lot of quarterbacks at the college football level and really even at the high school level, is one of the most important stats of being quarterback, and that is, are you winning football games? Jayden Maiava takes over this UNLV offense after game 3 and leads them to a 9-5 season where they competed for a Mountain West Conference championship. Now, why is that special for UNLV? This is a UNLV program that has had one winning season in the last 15 years. Jayden Maiava comes into this offense and leads them to the best season that they've had in the last 20 years. That's something that means something to me. In terms of evaluating quarterbacks, you want quarterbacks that are winners. Jayden Maiava, as a redshirt freshman, is certainly a winner. But then you get into the film and you really start realizing how good Jayden Maiava can be with some more development. I think the thing that's special about Jayden Maiava, especially within this USC offense, is you look at what Lincoln Riley wants to do on offense. He wants to spread it out. He wants his quarterbacks to make a lot of different throws from a lot of different platforms. Jayden Maiava has the ability to make every single throw on the football field, and really every single throw that Lincoln Riley is going to ask Jayden Maiava to make. A 63% completion percentage for over 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. You watch the film, you see some of those youthful mistakes. Jayden Maiava maybe trying to do a little bit too much, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected from a redshirt freshman in an offense that there's not that much talent, right? If UNLV was making plays, it was largely coming from Jayden Maiava really creating on his own. Now, getting into the film, I want to take us back to early in the season in UNLV, where this is really where Jayden Maiava came onto my radar. Many of you guys know I'm a big Michigan fan. Michigan dominating UNLV in week 2. UNLV hadn't been able to move the football all game, right? And this redshirt freshman comes in off the bench in the fourth quarter and starts cutting up this Michigan defense. And I'll say this, I watched every single Michigan game multiple times. I haven't seen a quarterback really cut Michigan up on defense like Jayden Maiava did in that fourth quarter. Now, granted, it was a little bit of garbage time, but Jayden Maiava looked absolutely phenomenal. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is you're going to see Jayden Maiava have an arm to really fit it in the tight windows, rip it in there. He also has the ability to push the ball down the field. What I think is really special about Jayden Maiava is the arm talent in terms of the touch and layering football. As you fire up the film here, one, you're going to see an off-platform throw where they're asking him to roll out, not throw on a platform. And you're going to see him layer this football into a very tight window, right? You have a trailing cornerback that's playing that underneath zone, and you have a safety coming over the top. There is not many spots where you can make that throw. He has to put it right on the receiver, in front of the safety, behind the cornerback, makes that throw on the run to the boundary. Jayden Maiava throws with phenomenal touch to go along with an absolute howitzer that he has. You continue to roll through the film. You kind of see it on this play too, 4th and 3 in the bowl game against Kansas, in a very similar situation where you're now working towards the middle of the field, kind of that cover 2 where you have that underneath coverage that is sinking deep. And Jayden Maiava needs to throw this kind of above this underneath coverage and in front of the safety that's collapsing in. And you see him layer it perfectly, a little bit high, but throwing a catchable football. Jayden Maiava, in the touch, in the layers that he can throw the ball with, I think really impressive. And then you get to some of the other intangibles that Jayden Maiava brings to the table. He's a guy that when it's a tight window, he can absolutely rip it in there too and throw that fastball. And again, when you start looking at all the boxes that Jayden Maiava can check in terms of an arm talent standpoint, he checks a lot of those boxes, right? You go to this game against Vanderbilt, his first game as the official starter for UNLV. They go and upset an SEC team in Vanderbilt. I get Vanderbilt, not very good, but UNLV was not a team that beats SEC teams, regardless of how good they are. Jayden Maiava puts up 47 points, leads them to a victory. And this is kind of the stuff that I'm talking about in terms of, hey, we are dropping and we're taking a deep drop back. We have to fire this football into a very tight coverage, throws an absolute laser, gives his guy an ability to work after the catch. Again, when you have the arm talent that Jayden Maiava does, you want to get the football to your wide receivers quickly, right? You want to get them and allow them to operate after the catch, especially in this USC offense when you're throwing to guys like Zachariah Branch. Jayden Maiava's ability to really put some mustard on the football, let his wide receivers get the football in space quickly and on time, and let them extend after the catch, absolutely massive. And then you take a look at the last kind of box that we want to see check, and that is, can you throw the deep ball? Can you put it on time accurately, and can you hit your receivers in stride against Air Force? Again, Jayden Maiava, step drop, and he is going to deliver a ball that is not only accurate, he's hitting his receiver in stride. Again, allowing them to operate after the catch, throws a very good deep ball attack in the deeper third. And I think the last aspect that I want to talk about is what Jayden Maiava can do as an athlete, using his legs. We saw Caleb Williams do this at times for USC. Jayden Maiava, I think you even feel better about him being an athlete in this USC offense because he's big. You're talking about someone who is 6'4", 220 plus pounds. He can take contact, and you take a look at this. I mean, yes, he's a big body, but he has some wheels too, making people miss in space, having the ability to work through contact. He's a guy that certainly adds a lot of juice as a rusher in this offense as well. And again, you'll see at times Lincoln Riley ask the quarterback to extend plays and use their legs to move the chains. Jayden Maiava certainly can do that. Now you get to how I feel about this quarterback battle, but more importantly, how I feel about this quarterback room. Going into 2024, I think Miller Moss is probably going to be your guy, right? He checks a lot of those boxes in terms of having the command of the offense, having played in this offense for the last 3 years, and really, I think, owning the locker room. And that's something that's really important at that quarterback position. But you take a look at how this quarterback room shakes out. Miller Moss, probably your guy in 2024. What does Jayden Maiava look like heading into the 2025 season? This is a guy that, again, only going into year 3 of his college football career. I think you're looking at a quarterback that not only is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the country, but a guy that has a ton of upside in terms of that developmental arc. And I think Jayden Maiava, we could be looking at a very special quarterback in that 2025 year. Now, I'm happy that Lincoln Riley is making this a quarterback competition because, quite frankly, this time last year, spring practice, fall camp for USC, I don't know if there was enough competition, right? And you saw guys like Mason Cobb come into the transfer portal, be like, all right, you're kind of pegged in as our starting linebacker. You didn't see a lot of guys really seem like they were fighting for their jobs. And so I think Lincoln Riley's approach heading into spring practice and fall camp saying, hey, we are going to compete for our jobs. We are going to have the best players play. It doesn't matter your star ranking. It doesn't matter what you were rated coming out of the transfer portal. We are going to evaluate every position over the next couple of months, and the players that earn it in practice are going to be the players that are suiting up on Saturdays. And I really like that approach. Again, I don't think there was enough of that approach last year for Lincoln Riley. Really excited about this one. Really excited about Jayden Maiava. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.